It was 28 of 2005. So 2005 at that point to have a hybrid law of civil and Sharia was something very new to the UAE. And I always said, this law will never, ever be amended. We tried everything.
And why do you think that is?
Because there's always that school in every country that wants to keep the stability of the families. And they believe that leaving things, just the way they are would actually be better than renovate, like in the innovation in this part of the law. What happened is in 2019, I have to say the UAE has, I guess it's since COVID, really took itself from where it used to be to where it is now. Now we have a hybrid law for the Muslims, and we have a non-Muslims law for the non-Muslims. My personal comment, when I saw the first draft that was issued for the non-Muslims law, the law started, the preamble of the law said, this law goes for equality between men and women. For instance, for khula. Khula is the only way a Muslim woman can seek divorce without harm, without claiming harm against her husband. And she can't pronounce the divorce. She can't just say to her husband, you're divorced, you're divorced, you're divorced. No, it's not that way. She has to actually go to court and ask the judge to release her from that man by khula. That's the word that we use. Khula in Islam is the one single right of a woman to get a divorce. She doesn't have to do anything, except if the husband asks for something like his gold, his gifts. This is referred to the Qawl Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to this woman when she came to him and she said, I don't want to be with my husband. And Alayhi Salatu Wasalam said, Ruddi alayhi hadiqatah, which actually means that you don't want this man? Give him back the garden he gave you, the land he gifted you. In the UAE law, the khula does not take place without the consent of the husband.
Because you've dealt with a lot of divorce cases, what is the most common case that comes up with you that you see all the time?
So I have to say, there is not a roadmap. It's not a typical roadmap that you say, you want to get divorced? Okay, you want a divorce? This is how you do it. 1, 2, 3, no, steps on the way, a template. No. Every case has its own unique characteristics of the case, and they have to be dealt with in a very precise way. Is it easier to get divorced when you don't have children? Yes, of course, because you don't have to worry about your children. The biggest problem for a woman seeking divorce is the children. If she's just, haven't had children yet, it's going to be easier. How easy is it to get divorced in the UAE? I have to say, in 2019, we had something that I would call an amendment to the law that actually made divorce more difficult for women.
How so?
Because instead of going directly to a judge of the court of first instance, a single judge, who would immediately get the 2 adjudicators appointed on the case to meet the woman and see why is she asking for divorce and meet her personally and speak to her. Suddenly, we have a single judge who would be able to dismiss the case on whatever grounds he may see unfit for the request. And then the woman has to file again her case before a single judge, or appeal his judgment, of course, a single judge to be able to get the adjudicators. In the non-Muslims law, a husband and a wife equally can file for no-fault divorce, simply because they're non-Muslims. They can do it. No-fault divorce has only been introduced in England 2 years ago. The English courts would never have even thought of no-fault divorce. It wasn't justified to be able to divorce your husband or your wife for no reason. We were actually, literally, as Muslims, criticized for talaq. I would appear before an English judge who would say, how could a man just divorce his wife for no reason whatsoever without her ability to even say yes or no? That's exactly what the English courts introduced. But it's not exclusive to a man. It's both. Men and women can divorce. But for us in Islam, it's only a man who can still divorce, who can still pronounce that talaq and just get done with that woman and give her what he owes her under our Sharia provisions. So a woman who's spent with a man 35 years of her life, then she ends up with the monthly nafaqa times 12 of 12 months. But she spent 35 years in the marriage, or 25 years, or her whole life. We have a separation of roles. We have a hadina, who's the custodian, who's of course the mother by default. And then we have the father, who is a guardian. So he has the right to keep the passport of the children. He has the right to choose the place where the children live. But he has limited visitations. I don't want to hear the word to dismiss the custody of a mother. Although now it does. It exists also, and for the non-Muslims, it's called removal of a custodian, because remember they're joint custodians. So the idea here is that you can remove one of the custodians. But again, to remove a custodian from a joint custody may be less traumatizing, because this child has already enjoyed some joint custody. Maybe he would have rather stay with his mom rather than his dad, because he's experienced it. But for a child who's never had it, most of these children haven't seen their fathers. And then suddenly they're taken.
So thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks to you.
And for all those who are listening, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.